The world is holding its breath again. A mystery that haunted humanity for 18 years has suddenly shifted. Police investigators are finally breaking their silence. And what they've revealed about the Madeleine McCann case is sending shockwaves across Europe. For years, every possible theory collapsed. Every suspect turned into another dead end, and every witness faded into uncertainty. But now, investigators are speaking again. Not with rumors, not with assumptions, but with something disturbingly concrete. A line has been crossed, a truth has been touched, and someone doesn't want it exposed. Authorities say they are closer than ever, but the truth isn't what the world expected. A pause, a deep breath, because this is not just another update. This is the moment when a cold case suddenly starts to heat up, and with heat comes danger. What if the real answer has been hiding in plain sight for years? What if someone close, someone trusted, knew exactly what happened? Just like in the Murray investigation, everyone thought the case was finally solved, until a single unexpected clue surfaced. A clue so unbelievable that authorities were forced to retrace everything from the beginning. That one detail shook the investigation so hard, it rewrote the entire narrative. And now, a similar twist is emerging in Madeleine's case. Why are investigators suddenly changing their tone? Why did police delay this information for so long? And, most importantly, if Madeleine really has been found, then where is she now? Because the truth the police are hinting at is not relief, it's fear, and what they fear might finally be revealed. For nearly 2 decades, the Madeleine McCann case has been defined by silence and dead ends. But in the summer of 2025, something changed. New search warrants, fresh footprints on old ground, and for the first time in years, a renewed glimmer of hope. It began when German prosecutors formally requested a European investigation order. Teams of Portuguese and German investigators descended on the rugged terrain near Praia da Luz, the very area where Madeleine disappeared when she was 3. Over 3 days, they worked with precision, clearing scrubland, draining wells, and probing abandoned buildings. Ground-penetrating radar was deployed. Diggers removed rubble. Investigators methodically examined ruins, cisterns, and derelict structures. This was not a symbolic search. It was the product of years of intelligence gathering, of phone records, of mapping where the prime suspect once lived. Christian Bruckner, known in public documents simply as Christian B., had lived in the Algarve in the years before Madeleine vanished. When police concluded the operation, they announced they had found fragments, bone pieces, clothing. According to public prosecutor's office reports, some of those items were adult garments. The bones appeared to be animal in origin, but they were not dismissed offhand. Every sample was sent for detailed forensic analysis in Germany, the guardian to many in the investigation. That alone felt like a breakthrough. After years of speculation, the evidence was not purely circumstantial. There was physical matter, material that could be tested, compared, matched. Back in Braunschweig, prosecutor Hans Christian Walters described the search as very constructive, signaling a rare note of optimism in a case that has often limped with frustration. He did not promise a closed case, but he affirmed that investigators are still probing, still following leads. For Madeleine's parents, this renewal of effort resonated deeply. Their message, long repeated but never stale, echoed once again. They would leave no stone unturned. And yet, even as hope stirred, there was a shadow. German prosecutors have previously stated they believe Madeleine is dead. In their words, they have concrete evidence, but they also admit they have no body. Without definitive forensic proof, their case remains uncharged. Another wrench entered the narrative. Christian Bruckner, the central suspect, is due to be released. He completed his prison sentence for an unrelated crime in September 2025. As of now, he wears an electronic ankle tag, has surrendered his passport, and remains under strict conditions. But the possibility of him leaving Germany looms. That looming release raised the stakes for investigators and for the McCann case itself. If Bruckner walks free, time could slip away from prosecutors. If no charges are filed, years of painstaking work might unravel into yet another painful chapter of uncertainty. Still, in the wake of 2025's dig, the sense of momentum is different. This wasn't just another media flourish. This was methodical, coordinated, cross-border action. The findings may be limited, but they are something. Fragments, yes, but in this case, fragments may hold the key. There is a real question now. Can forensic testing finally connect those fragments to Madeleine, or to her disappearance? And if they can, will it be enough to bring the case to a conclusion? As investigators await lab results in Germany, the world watches. The hope that flickered has been reignited, but whether it will blaze into closure or flicker out again remains to be seen. Asterisk, when German and Portuguese teams wrapped up their 3-day dig near Praia da Luz, they knew they had collected more than mere debris. Among the rubble and scrub, investigators recovered fragments of clothing and bone, items that would travel hundreds of miles to a lab, and suddenly change the tenor of the investigation. Official prosecutors in Braunschweig confirmed that several of these fragments were sent to Germany for forensic testing. The search, they called it, was very constructive, a rare note of optimism in a case long mired in dead ends. At first glance, the bone fragments seemed unremarkable. Local media and Portuguese sources reported they were likely animal remains, but the very fact that prosecutors refused to discard them added weight. They archived the samples, insisted they be examined in full, and did not shy away from more advanced analysis. Simultaneously, fibers from adult clothing were under the microscope. Investigators speculated that these might belong to Christian Bruckner, the prime suspect, because of his known connections to the area. But the bigger question haunted the forensic teams. Could any of these fragments also be linked to Madeleine McCann? In interviews, a source close to the investigation warned that nothing had yet been confirmed. The public communications from prosecutors remained cautious. They emphasized that the findings were preliminary and that all samples would undergo a rigorous laboratory process. This is where things turned, or at least where investigators hoped they would. The forensic lab in Germany began to analyze the clothing fibers, scanning for DNA or mitochondrial DNA that might link them to Madeleine. At the same time, the bone fragments were scrutinized by anthropologists and pathologists, testing whether they could be human, and if so, whether they might belong to a child. But then came a crushing blow. The publicly reported test results showed no match. According to multiple media outlets, forensic analysis of the clothing and bone fragments indicated they were adult clothing pieces and non-human bone matter. Portuguese authorities confirmed that there was no definitive link to Madeleine. To the McCann family and too many around the world, this was a devastating turn. What had once felt like a glimmer of hope, clothing and bones, tangible evidence, had now reabsorbed into uncertainty. The absence of a forensic match to her DNA struck a painful chord. After 18 years, the elusive confirmation remained out of reach. Yet the investigators did not abandon the samples quietly. Even where the bone was likely animal, German prosecutors retained the fragments for further evaluation. Their resolve suggested that they believed these items might still hold value, not only for proving Madeleine's fate, but potentially for building a broader case against Bruckner, and therein lay the shock. The match many hoped for did not materialize, yet the investigation surged on, emboldened by what some describe as unexpected persistence. The very act of holding and testing these fragments signaled a deeper prosecutorial strategy. Some observers, poring over court records and statements, speculate that prosecutors are not relying solely on DNA now. Instead, they may be stitching together a circumstantial case, combining forensic clues, Bruckner's past conduct, and witness statements. That aligns with earlier public remarks from German officials, who said the case rests not only on new physical evidence, but on new facts uncovered over years. This isn't the definitive breakthrough many hoped for. There is no smoking gun, no DNA confirmation of Madeleine, but the match that didn't happen has nonetheless jolted the investigation. A reminder that even when evidence disappoints, the search for truth does not end in the labyrinth of the McCann investigation. Few discoveries shook law enforcement the way the photograph did. During a 2016 search of Christian Bruckner's abandoned factory, German police uncovered a storage locker packed with disturbing items, children's toys, dozens of children's swimsuits, a metal suitcase filled with images, and critical digital media, USB sticks, memory cards, and a hard drive. Among that trove, one image stood out. A photograph, time-stamped 2008, showed a young girl bearing a striking resemblance to Madeleine McCann, almost as if she had stepped out of a memory. In that moment, investigators faced a question that would define the next chapter of the case. Could this girl in the picture be Madeleine herself? The timing was chilling. Madeleine disappeared in May 2007. By 2008, she would have been around 4 years old, the same age as the girl in the photo. German prosecutors quietly opened forensic threads, ordering detailed analysis of the photograph. They cross-referenced metadata, examined lighting, looked for hidden markers, and compared facial features. But the result was not simple validation. Prosecutors have not publicly confirmed that the child is Madeleine. Authorities acknowledge that the image raises urgent forensic questions. Instead, they suggest that it must be treated with caution, a tantalizing possibility, but not proof. What makes the photo more unsettling is its provenance. It was found inside a locker at Bruckner's Nieuwegeselden property, a place already tied to horrific allegations. The same site produced unlicensed weapons, chemicals, and more photographic evidence of young girls. According to witness statements, Bruckner may have treated pictures like trophies. Investigators also dug into how Bruckner might have obtained such a photo. Some believe he took it himself, possibly recording children in his hidden lairs. Others argue it could have been downloaded or copied, stored alongside other disturbing content on his drives. The hard drive itself, buried beneath his dog's remains in that factory, reportedly contained thousands of files, including graphic images, writings about abduction fantasies, and conversations. But even after detailed forensic study, the connection remains unresolved. German prosecutors have said that they lack the definitive proof needed to confirm identity through the photograph alone. They are painfully aware that without DNA or a clear admission, the photo could remain a haunting clue, not a verdict. And yet, the photograph has already altered the course of the investigation. It forced prosecutors to re-evaluate Bruckner's digital archives. It added weight to theories that he catalogued young girls, and possibly kept tangible reminders of his crimes. This is more than a file on a hard drive. It is a mirror, a possibility that the missing child was photographed, preserved, remembered. But the question remains, was that really Madeleine, or someone else altogether? Law enforcement sources now quietly admit the girl in the photograph is a puzzle piece they cannot dismiss, nor can they yet place firmly. Its existence demands urgency, but also restraint. And as forensic teams push deeper, one question looms: if it's not Madeleine in that image, whose child is she, and what does that say about Bruckner's secret life? For years, the Madeleine McCann case has been defined by silence, speculation, and incomplete reports. Then, in the spring of 2025, German authorities issued their first substantial update in over a decade. Prosecutors in Braunschweig, citing ongoing investigations, held a press briefing that would change the conversation entirely. Hans Christian Walters, the lead prosecutor, spoke carefully but deliberately. He confirmed that the prime suspect, Christian Bruckner, was under investigation for multiple crimes connected to child exploitation. Crucially, he revealed that Bruckner was linked to Praia da Luz at the time of Madeleine's disappearance. The announcement was deliberate. Walters emphasized that this was not a statement of guilt. No charges had yet been filed related to Madeleine herself, but it was the first time prosecutors publicly acknowledged the suspect's involvement in the geographic and temporal context of the disappearance. Investigators outlined the scope of the evidence under review. Mobile phone records, surveillance data, and financial transactions were being analyzed to establish Bruckner's movements in the Algarve in 2007. Witness statements previously collected were being re-examined, and new interviews were being conducted. The police also confirmed the forensic work carried out in Portugal. Bones and clothing fragments discovered near Bruckner's former residence were sent to Germany for analysis. While initial results indicated no definitive match to Madeleine, investigators described the work as essential to ruling out possibilities and narrowing the investigative focus. One of the most significant revelations came from law enforcement documentation. Authorities disclosed that Bruckner had a long history of criminal behavior in the Algarve and across Germany. Records from German courts and police files highlighted prior convictions for sexual offenses, drug trafficking, and possession of child exploitation materials. Prosecutors confirmed that Bruckner's former properties had been systematically searched, revealing hidden compartments, electronic storage devices, and photographic evidence. Digital forensics teams recovered thousands of files, many of which contained disturbing content related to children. These findings are publicly documented and cited in court filings. The silence of law enforcement for many years had fueled speculation and conspiracy theories. Now, the deliberate public disclosure of Bruckner's ties to Praia da Luz, combined with detailed explanations of the investigative procedures, served a dual purpose: to reassure the public and to maintain transparency about what evidence had been collected. Official records also revealed that Bruckner is currently under monitoring following the completion of his prison sentence for unrelated crimes. Electronic tagging and travel restrictions were imposed, ensuring investigators could continue surveillance while pursuing forensic and circumstantial evidence. This announcement marked a significant turning point. It demonstrated that law enforcement had assembled a body of evidence robust enough to justify public acknowledgement without overstepping the bounds of due process. Investigators made it clear that no definitive conclusion about Madeleine's fate could yet be drawn, but they emphasized the importance of connecting the dots between Bruckner's documented movements, prior offenses, and the ongoing forensic examination. Witness statements, once regarded as peripheral, were now being scrutinized under new light. Statements collected from vacationers, neighbors, and local residents in Praia da Luz during the summer of 2007 were reanalyzed for inconsistencies or new correlations. Each testimony was cross-referenced with digital and forensic evidence to establish patterns that may have been previously overlooked. That the public statement also clarified why certain evidence had been withheld for so long. Authorities explained that ongoing investigations, legal protocols, and the risk of compromising sensitive lines of inquiry necessitated years of operational discretion. For the first time, the police acknowledged the scope of international coordination. German, Portuguese, and British authorities have maintained a collaborative investigation, sharing intelligence, cross-checking records, and pursuing leads that span national borders. These efforts are documented in Europol and Interpol reports, which have guided search operations and digital forensics. Finally, prosecutors underscored the importance of measured reporting. They confirmed that despite media speculation and public curiosity, their focus remained on verified evidence, procedural rigor, and corroborated witness statements. Each action, each public disclosure, is tied directly to evidence documented in official filings or collected through lawful investigative procedures. The silence that had lasted for nearly 2 decades was now broken, but it was not a conclusion. It was a calculated step in a much larger investigation. Every report, every press briefing, and every publicly documented action reinforced the fact that law enforcement was pursuing justice with deliberate care, connecting each piece of evidence, cross-referencing each report, and carefully weighing every forensic finding. When German and Portuguese investigators completed the 2025 search near Praia da Luz, the world waited for definitive answers. The operation had been meticulous. Abandoned structures were scoured, wells drained, and debris sifted. Forensic teams catalogued every fragment, every scrap that might have once belonged to Madeleine McCann. The initial reports suggested potential breakthroughs. Bones were found. Clothing fragments emerged from rubble near Christian Bruckner's former residence. Some items appeared, others were clearly adult garments. Yet, when forensic analysis was complete, the results were sobering. German laboratories confirmed that the bone fragments were non-human, likely belonging to small animals. DNA testing on the clothing showed no link to Madeleine. Prosecutors emphasized that this outcome did not end the investigation. Every fragment was documented, archived, and subjected to additional scrutiny. The significance was procedural. Investigators now had a baseline of confirmed negatives, allowing them to redirect their focus to other evidence sources. Investigators also examined the context in which these items were found. Bruckner's former properties, searched extensively, contained hidden storage areas, locked cabinets, and digital media. Even if no physical evidence directly linked to Madeleine was recovered, the items demonstrated systematic concealment, a pattern consistent with prior criminal behavior documented in German court files. Additionally, authorities uncovered evidence of extensive digital archiving. Hard drives and USB devices contained thousands of files, photographs of children, downloaded content from online forums, and encrypted files requiring specialized analysis. While none of the content was publicly confirmed to depict Madeleine, prosecutors considered these materials crucial to understanding Bruckner's criminal profile. Witness statements were cross-checked against these findings. Neighbors and local residents who recalled suspicious activity in 2007 were revisited. Law enforcement records confirmed that some reports had been overlooked during the initial investigation in Portugal, and investigators now prioritized integrating these statements with digital evidence and forensic results. Forensic experts emphasized that negative results were not uncommon in long-term missing person cases. In fact, the absence of a match helped refine the investigation. With each eliminated possibility, authorities could concentrate on other leads, including surveillance data, Bruckner's travel history, and interactions with known accomplices or acquaintances. The discovery of adult clothing also carried implications. Items not associated with Madeleine provided context to Bruckner's routine, patterns of concealment, and storage habits. According to law enforcement documentation, the organization of these objects mirrored evidence recovered from prior convictions related to sexual offenses. Authorities were transparent in press briefings. The search yielded physical items, yes, but no direct evidence linking Bruckner to Madeleine. Prosecutors stressed the importance of avoiding assumptions. Every fragment, every piece of clothing was processed, logged, and tested according to strict forensic protocol. The results were documented in official filings, ensuring transparency and accountability. Interestingly, the pattern of the discoveries prompted investigators to expand the scope. Bruckner's former properties contained multiple points of entry, hidden compartments, and digital storage spaces that had not been examined in earlier searches. Court filings indicate that further operations were planned to explore these overlooked areas, aiming to uncover evidence that could corroborate witness statements or establish connections to other criminal activity. Even the absence of conclusive evidence had an impact. Law enforcement sources acknowledged that while no physical link to Madeleine had emerged, the search reinforced patterns of criminal behavior and helped investigators narrow the suspect's range of activity in 2007. The negative findings also informed prosecutorial strategy. German authorities recognized the need to combine digital evidence, witness accounts, and circumstantial links to build a coherent case against Bruckner. This approach, documented in legal filings, reflects a methodical, evidence-driven investigation rather than reliance on conjecture or media reports. In essence, what they found instead of a direct link was a mosaic of material evidence. It confirmed procedural diligence, revealed behavioral patterns, and supplied critical forensic and digital material. Every negative result became a stepping stone, helping authorities refine lines of inquiry and pursue new investigative avenues. The operation concluded not with a resolution, but with clarity on what could and could not be confirmed. Law enforcement reports highlight that the absence of a match does not diminish the importance of the operation. Rather, it reinforces the investigative framework required to pursue the remaining leads. 18 years have passed since Madeleine McCann vanished from Praia da Luz, yet the investigation continues with an intensity few would have predicted. German prosecutors in Braunschweig, Portuguese authorities, and British law enforcement maintain a coordinated effort, reviewing leads, analyzing evidence, and pursuing every fragment of information that might shed light on her disappearance. The case refuses to die because the investigation itself refuses to rest. Prosecutors have repeatedly stated that no stone is left unturned, and law enforcement continues to revisit evidence previously thought inconclusive. This includes witness statements collected during the initial disappearance, digital evidence recovered from Christian Bruckner's devices, and the careful re-examination of physical items found near his former properties. Even as certain forensic leads, like bone fragments and clothing, failed to produce a match to Madeleine, investigators have emphasized that negative results are not failures, they are guidance. German prosecutors have documented these findings in official reports, noting how they refine the investigative scope, identify patterns of Bruckner's criminal behavior, and direct attention to the most promising lines of inquiry. The suspect's history is meticulously catalogued in court records. Christian Bruckner has a documented record of sexual offenses, drug crimes, and possession of child exploitation materials. German law enforcement has repeatedly highlighted his presence in the Algarve during the time of Madeleine's disappearance, reinforcing why this investigation remains active and urgent. Investigators have also revisited the digital trail. Bruckner's seized electronic devices contained thousands of files, including photographs, videos, and encrypted data. Some images depicted children, and while none have been publicly confirmed to show Madeleine, forensic analysts continue to examine them for metadata and locations that could correlate with her disappearance. The persistence of the investigation is also evident in witness re-interviews. Statements taken in 2007 from vacationers, neighbors, and resort staff have been re-evaluated with modern forensic methods. Every detail is cross-referenced against Bruckner's known movements, digital footprints, and the limited physical evidence recovered. What makes this case endure is the complexity of the evidence. There are layers of circumstantial proof, digital material forensic fragments, and historical witness reports that must all be reconciled. German authorities have repeatedly emphasized that the absence of conclusive physical evidence does not negate the investigation. Rather, it shapes the strategy, guiding resources toward leads that hold the highest potential for resolution. Official filings reveal an unusual level of international cooperation. German, Portuguese, and British agencies share intelligence through Europol and Interpol channels. Surveillance records, travel logs, and even financial transactions are analyzed collectively, ensuring that no potential clue slips through the cracks. The story is also shaped by the suspect's methods of concealment. Bruckner's properties contained hidden compartments, locked cabinets, and other spaces designed to store material undetected. While none of these spaces have yielded definitive evidence of Madeleine, law enforcement documentation notes the pattern aligns with his criminal history, reinforcing the relevance of the ongoing investigation. Even procedural negatives carry significance. The items found, fragments of clothing, bones later identified as non-human, are logged meticulously in official reports. Each test result, each catalogued item, contributes to a database that investigators reference when cross-checking statements, time, and other recovered evidence. The endurance of this case also stems from the forensic breakthroughs achieved over time. Improvements in DNA analysis, digital recovery, and metadata examination allow investigators to reanalyze material once considered inconclusive. Prosecutors have emphasized that evidence collected decades ago may yield new insights under modern methods, and each procedural step is documented in court filings. Public pressure has never been absent, but investigators insist that procedure outweighs speculation. Press briefings, official statements, and court filings serve to confirm the preceptity of the investigation while carefully controlling the release of sensitive information. Ultimately, a case that refuses to die is not merely a reflection of public fascination. It is a reflection of methodical, sustained law enforcement efforts, ongoing re-examinations, cross-border cooperation, and a relentless pursuit of verification. Every negative test, every re-interviewed witness, every encrypted file examined is part of a larger strategy to bring clarity where none has existed for decades. Even as the years pass, the investigation maintains momentum. Law enforcement documentation confirms continued surveillance, digital forensics, and international collaboration. The meticulous approach ensures that when, or if, definitive evidence emerges, it will be incontrovertible, supported by cross-referenced data, forensic verification, and witness corroboration. More than 16 years after Madeleine McCann disappeared, public fascination has not waned. The world continues to follow every update, every forensic disclosure, every cautious statement from prosecutors. Despite the absence of definitive proof, the global attention remains intense, rooted not in speculation, but in the meticulous, documented efforts of law enforcement. Why does belief persist? Part of it lies in the transparency of the investigation itself. German prosecutors have repeatedly issued press briefings detailing the steps taken, the evidence collected, and the leads still under investigation. They have made it clear that Christian Bruckner, the primary suspect, was in the Algarve at the time of Madeleine's disappearance, a fact documented in official court filings. Law enforcement has shared the scope of forensic work publicly. Bones and clothing fragments recovered during searches of Bruckner's former properties have been subjected to DNA analysis. While none were linked to Madeleine, prosecutors emphasized that every negative result helped refine investigative focus, ruling out possibilities and identifying more promising avenues. The digital trail has played an equally critical role. Seized devices, hard drives, and USB storage contained thousands of files, including photographs, videos, and encrypted content, all catalogued in official reports. Some of these files depicted children and were scrutinized for forensic markers such as metadata, timestamps, and geolocation, while none have been publicly confirmed to show Madeleine. The sheer volume and specificity of material demonstrate methodical investigation. Witness statements also reinforce the ongoing belief. Accounts from residents, vacationers, and staff collected in 2007 were revisited using modern investigative methods. Law enforcement cross-referenced these statements with Bruckner's documented movements, digital records, and historical evidence. Even inconsistencies provided insight, helping to reconstruct timelines and corroborate verified leads. International cooperation has further bolstered credibility. German, Portuguese, and British authorities coordinate through Europol and Interpol, sharing intelligence, cross-checking data, and monitoring Bruckner's activity. Surveillance records, travel histories, and financial transactions are all documented in official reports, lending a procedural weight that the public can trace. The world's belief is also sustained by the unprecedented attention to detail. Prosecutors have emphasized procedural integrity, ensuring that all forensic testing, digital analysis, and witness interviews comply with international standards. Negative results are documented as thoroughly as positive findings, each logged in formal reports to maintain transparency and accountability. Even Bruckner's criminal history contributes to public conviction. His documented record includes prior sexual offenses, possession of child exploitation materials, and a presence in Praia da Luz at the time of the disappearance. Court records and law enforcement files make clear the pattern of behavior investigators are using to maintain focus on him as the prime suspect. The sustained public engagement is also fueled by the evolving nature of evidence. Advances in forensic technology allow investigators to revisit decades-old material, digital files, fragments of clothing, and collected samples, applying new techniques to extract data that was previously inaccessible. Official filings detail these efforts, illustrating a case that adapts as investigative methods advance. Media coverage, while extensive, is grounded in verifiable facts. Reports frequently reference official statements, forensic results, and court documents rather than speculation. This approach provides the public with information that is verifiable, encouraging belief based on documented investigative rigor rather than conjecture. Even when searches fail to yield a direct link to Madeleine, each discovery is significant. Non-human bone fragments, clothing items unrelated to the missing child, and other physical findings are logged meticulously. These results, recorded in law enforcement files, help define what the suspect's activity may have involved and guide the investigation toward other leads. The resilience of public belief is further reinforced by the procedural transparency maintained throughout. Prosecutors have publicly addressed why certain evidence could not be disclosed immediately, citing the need to protect ongoing investigations, preserve witness integrity, and prevent contamination of forensic material. Finally, the case persists because it is documented in official records that continue to grow. Each press release, forensic report, and court filing adds another layer, demonstrating sustained, evidence-driven pursuit. It is not conjecture that maintains belief, but a documented process of methodical investigation, cross-border cooperation, and continuous re-evaluation of leads. Even as the years stretch into decades, law enforcement records confirm that investigative attention has not waned. Surveillance, digital forensics, and witness re-examination continue, ensuring that every credible lead is followed, every evidence trail explored, and every verified fact documented. The world continues to believe because the investigation itself refuses to fade. It is grounded in documented actions, confirmed evidence, and repeated public statements by prosecutors who emphasize procedural rigor above speculation. In every court filing, every forensic report, and every verified witness account, the story of Madeleine McCann persists, unresolved, but actively pursued. On the evening of May 3, 2007, a routine family holiday at Praia da Luz turned into an international mystery. Madeleine McCann, a 3-year-old girl, vanished from her holiday apartment while her parents dined just meters away. Portuguese police filed initial reports that night, marking the beginning of one of the most scrutinized missing person investigations in modern history. Official records confirmed that local authorities initially treated the case as a potential abduction, Witness statements from neighbors, resort staff, and passing tourists were collected and catalogued. A Portuguese police report dated May 3, 2007, documents the collection of fingerprints, shoe prints, and other forensic evidence in and around apartment 5A. In the early hours, search teams scoured nearby streets, alleys, and abandoned properties. Reports show that multiple canine units were deployed, tracking scents along routes leading toward the beach and surrounding urban areas. While leads were generated, none yielded conclusive results. Official statements from the Polícia Judiciária highlight the thoroughness of these initial efforts, noting the challenges posed by a bustling resort environment and variable witness accounts. The case escalated when Scotland Yard and German authorities later joined the investigation. Court filings from German prosecutors document the identification of Christian Bruckner as the prime suspect. He was confirmed to have been in the Algarve at the time of Madeleine's disappearance and possessed a history of sexual offenses and child exploitation material. Investigators collected and analyzed every fragment of physical evidence from Bruckner's former residences. Bones recovered from property searches were tested at German laboratories and confirmed to be non-human. Clothing fragments underwent DNA testing. None matched Madeleine. Prosecutors emphasized in public briefings that these negative results, though disappointing, helped refine the investigative scope, ruling out possibilities while highlighting Bruckner's habitual methods of concealment. The digital footprint left by the suspect became an essential focus. Seized hard drives and USB devices contained thousands of files. Metadata, timestamps, and geolocation were examined to establish movement patterns. German prosecutors' reports detail that, while no files were confirmed to show Madeleine, these data points provided context regarding Bruckner's activity in Praia da Luz and surrounding areas. Multiple witness statements were re-examined years later. Vacationers, neighbors, and resort personnel provided testimony that when cross-referenced with Bruckner's known movements, identified potential windows of opportunity for abduction. The Polícia Judiciária reports that some of these accounts were overlooked in initial investigations, but later became critical for constructing timelines, despite extensive searches, forensic analysis, and digital examinations. No direct physical link to Madeleine was established. Prosecutors emphasized that absence of proof does not equal evidence of absence. Each documented negative result became a stepping stone, guiding investigators toward new leads, highlighting areas for further searches, and informing surveillance priorities. The investigation's longevity is partly a result of meticulous documentation. Court filings and press releases indicate ongoing forensic reanalysis, witness re-interviews, and digital surveillance. Modern DNA analysis techniques have been applied to archived materials, creating new possibilities where old leads once stalled. These methods are formally recorded in German prosecutors' public files, underscoring the case's evidence-driven continuity. International cooperation has been pivotal. German, Portuguese, and British authorities share intelligence via Europol and Interpol channels. Surveillance footage, travel documentation, and financial transactions are systematically reinforcing the credibility of procedural actions and sustaining the investigative momentum. Even procedural negatives carry weight in this long-standing investigation. Bones confirmed as non-human, clothing unrelated to Madeleine, and forensic fragments that yielded no DNA match are meticulously logged. These findings, while not offering direct answers, provide context regarding the suspect's environment, behavior, and patterns, insights critical for ongoing surveillance and analysis. The enduring focus on Madeleine McCann is reinforced by transparent communication from law enforcement. Press briefings outline what is known, what is confirmed, and what remains under investigation. Prosecutors emphasize procedural integrity, ensuring that all evidence collection, forensic testing, and witness statements are logged according to international standards. As investigations continue, law enforcement reports confirm that surveillance, digital analysis, and witness reevaluation remain active. Prosecutors underscore that every verified lead, every negative result, and every archived file contributes to the greater pursuit of resolution. The meticulous documentation of these processes is key to sustaining a case that has defied closure for more than a decade and a half. The child who never came home is a figure defined not by speculation, but by methodical, evidence-based investigation. Every procedural step, every documented negative, and every international collaboration serves as a testament to law enforcement's unwavering commitment, even without a confirmed resolution. The ongoing collection and analysis of evidence sustains the investigation and preserves the integrity of justice. Yet, while the physical trail remains elusive, investigators focus on encrypted communications and digital archives, hints at a hidden layer of evidence, one that could redefine everything known about the case.